So if you continue your conversations later, please, all right? Okay. Let's see how we can listen to others now. All right? Okay. All right. Welcome, everybody. So you're at the Mentoring Momentum session. We're going to talk about women entrepreneurs. We'll continue to do it because we already started this morning. It was very inspiring. We have some really inspiring people with us, and I know all of you have inspiring stories. So what we're going to do today, we're going to share these stories in a different way. We have 3 inspiring stories here that I wanted you to listen a little bit to how they do it. And then at the tables, you're going to also use your experience and your expertise to see how we can create actions in common. So the focus today is on co-creating, on doing something together. We've been working to support women and girls for a while. Somebody came to me and I said, look, we were talking about this in high school. I was in high school and it was 30 years ago, and you're still talking about it. So yes, we're doing in our corner, we're all doing things to support girls, women entrepreneurs. We have made some progress, but there's still a lot of work to do. So I want you to focus today on what we can do together, all right? So I'll introduce the host. I'll introduce myself first. So my name is Dana Puya-Morel. I work in the SME policy unit, and I work on entrepreneurship education and to support women entrepreneurs and girls to take careers in entrepreneurship and to study and pursue careers in science and technology. All right? And we also have Sabine Söder, our amazing host, who's going to draw. She's the author of these beautiful trees you have on the tables. So she's the CEO of Co-Creative Flow. Can I say that? I can say that. Thank you. Thank you. She's been with us for a while. She's going to help host this session and also draw these amazing outcomes, put them there on paper so that we remember them later and we can make more meaning out of this session. All right? And we have here 3 ladies, okay, that have been doing a lot of work for a while. I think you ladies have been working on this even before I started working on this. So I am honored to have you here today. So the first is Julia Stark. Okay, she's the president of the European Women's Association, EWA, and it's something to do with Eve and Eva. That's what you're trying to tell me, yes. So that tells you already, okay. We have Dagmara Franchak, to pronounce your name, sorry. She's a senior consultant at Deloitte, and you're going to hear from her today about the project she's been running. And we have Lina Tsaltampasi. I don't think I have to introduce Lina, but I'll say your functions. So she's the Secretary General of the Women Entrepreneurs Platform and also the President of the Greek Association of Women Entrepreneurs. You know, we talk about Greece as, you know, it's our cradle of civilization. It looks to be on women too, so you're one of our pioneers here. So you're going to hear from these 3 ladies. They're going to have 3 minutes each because the session is short. And if you have questions, I invite you to ask these questions and go find them afterwards in the break because we don't have time for Q&A. I want to hear from you as well, so that's why it's not a Q&A session. Okay? So I'm going to give now the floor to Julia. Julia, are you ready? I start the time. No? All right.
Always. Thank you so much. Thank you. I've got like few ladies like supporting. It's so kind. Yes, ladies, a little bit of the background. My background is investment banking, and I used to be the only female and the youngest one in Brussels and Luxembourg. And years later, after the financial crisis, I decided, well, it's time to listen to my CEO at that time and go for business. And it sounded so sexy and free, and I'll be rich, I'll do whatever I want. In the reality, I worked 24/7, didn't see my kids that much. So in reality, entrepreneurship isn't as easy as it sometimes is being promoted. But again, it's a lot about impact, it's a lot about freedom. And I should say that the experience in investment banking and lack of female leaders in the industry inspired me years later to set up the European Women's Association. So we've been around since 2013 as an accelerator program, and in the last 3 years we shifted into a non-profit, consciously, into a non-profit organization. And why non-profit is because we realized in the beginning of COVID, we need to co-create. It's not about me sitting there in Antwerp or Brussels and teaching our female founders about how to scale. It was more about what do we need women and diverse teams to scale. And we realized we need investors, we need accelerators, we need corporations, and we need government. I should admit, it's the first time for me here. I feel very strange among the conversations because I'm from the startup ecosystem, and it's so, so different from what I'm hearing here. So EY is a platform, is an ecosystem that helps, at the end, female founders to scale internationally, and we do that through matchmaking sessions with investors. We help them to scale and create business models that work for our investors. We organize different international trade missions, all that you can find on LinkedIn, by the way. Amazing pictures, amazing communities coming together. We work with UPS, Deloitte, Forbes, HSBC on leadership programs for women. And we work with Deloitte, and we work with European Commissions on getting more women into business, but not just into business, but help them scale. And digitalization and technology is a main key in that. So reach out to me if you'd like to somehow become part of it. And for me, Dana, thank you so much for not having a long panel session, but rather work together to co-create something for women globally. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And amazing time management skills. Thank you. All right. So Dagmara is going to be next then.
Great. Thank you so much, Julia, for exactly bringing up the collaboration, because I think that's exactly what we want to talk about, and I'm glad to see men in the room. So thank you for being brave, because I think the project that we're doing, so it's a STEAM Fest, so also if you see me with this phone, so I don't know if you know what the E and A would stand for. It's entrepreneurship and arts. I think everyone is very familiar with STEM, but maybe I think we've kind of Dana added the E and the A in there, because we realized that there are so many women who do not feel confident enough that they have the right skills to start their own business. So the project that Deloitte, together with EWA and Vlaio, is implementing for the European Commission. So Dana had this amazing idea, and now we're implementing it. So it's a 3-year-long project. We're finalizing year 1. So it's about organizing fests for girls and women, but also having an online community, so also to kind of sustain that connection that the girls and women will maintain throughout the fest. So not just doing a one-off workshop, but really creating this community. So throughout the 3 years, the idea is that we organize 11 fests throughout the European Union. So we already hosted a girls' fest in Belgium, Ireland, and Malta. It's been amazing to see them happen in many countries, and every one of them has been so different, because I think we're realizing it's maybe not one size fits all, but it's so important about understanding what are some of the struggles that the girls and women are having in their countries. And the Women Fest, we've organized them in Belgium, and now we're going to Greece. So we're going to Thessaloniki with Lina. And why I wanted to bring up as well men is I think we've heard so much feedback as to why are the boys not involved? Why are the men not involved in the fest? I think it's been important to have the space for the girls and women to really express themselves, but I'm really glad to see how we can co-create together and see how we can move forward with that. Thank you.
Awesome. Everybody's keeping the time today. Nice. All right. So now, last but not least, Lina's turn.
Hello, I'm Lina Saltabasi. I'm from Thessaloniki, Greece, and my story didn't start as sparkling as Julia's with bank and investment. So I was working in a consulting firm in Thessaloniki, actually in Athens. So they told me, you go and get a new branch in Thessaloniki. Thessaloniki is 1/4 of the size of Athens. So I started working hard, and then the branch overlapped the main office in Athens, having twice the budget and the turnovers of the main office. I went back and they said, oh, I need to negotiate again. And they came back to me and told me, you are 27, you're going to have children soon, so no raise, no nothing to give you back until you finalize the motherhood stage. The moment I went out, I said, okay, so now I need to start a consulting company friendly to women, that women are going to be the ones working for me, women are going to be empowered to start their own careers, and I'm going to help also female startups. And then I found my organizational home, which is the Greek Business Women Association, where I got my mentoring, because yes, I was a professional, but at the same time, I got my mentoring for business life, business and family life balance. So from then on, things changed. Now I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have more than 12 ventures already going on. I'm a business angel. I'm the president of the Greek Business Women Association, general secretary of Women Entrepreneurship Platform, and some other roles here and there with UN and several other factors. What is important about Women Entrepreneurship Platform is it was initiated by an idea by Grazia Reddo, who is unfortunately not here with us, when we were awarded as female entrepreneurs ambassadors from the Commission. And it started locally going Europeanly, because we want to reach each and every village, each and every town. So we are giving the power to the local organizations who are our members, because if we don't act locally, we are not going to go Europeanly. So apart from having activities, we are the policymakers. We are the ones, really the nasty ones, who go every time to Dana's door and force her. That's why she says we have a long history together, love and hate. Love you, actually. So this is who WEP is. This is who I am. I'm a female activist, and this is how I want to be identified in the future.
Well done, thank you. I hope you're all activists now. I know you are already, but I hope we gave you enough energy and inspiration. So now it's your turn. So at this conversation tables, what we're going to do, we're going to use your expertise, your experience, all your stories. We want to bring them together because we want to see what can we do together. So think more of, from what I have, from my strength, my achievements, whatever I've done. You hear a little bit here, how they did it in their own way. So what can we do together at whatever level you choose? It can be European, it can be your country. What can we do together? Because we all want to create this safe space for girls and women. And we've seen it now with girls. It has to be a space that's safe where they can flourish. Flourishing means that girls can be scientists too. That women can have both a career and also have children and a family and whatever other obligations they have. So we want to empower girls and women to become entrepreneurs, to follow, to pursue, to study and pursue these careers in technology, science, all these areas where we don't have enough women yet. So all of us share this goal, but let's see what actions can we do. And Sabine is going to say now how we're going to do it at the tables.
Thank you, Dana. And maybe we can have, the next slide, please. So we have some table hosts, and maybe we can mingle a little bit more so that more people are at one table. Because we have Antonella Correra, and we have Christine Hebert, and we have Benedetta Spattini, and we have Cosima Kova. So you need to switch table. And we have Lisa Lang. And we have our three wonderful women activists, I would say, who will join another table. So you have them as a table host. And you see this tree. And I've drawn also a tree here at the graphic recording. Why a tree? Because we said it's something which is really deeply rooted. And the roots are all of us, men, women, independent, with our individual stories we have. The stem is where we connect, and the branches and the fruits is what we want to harvest this afternoon. So we invite you to a 20-minute conversation, and the table host will make sure that everybody speaks up, the silent and the not so silent ones, that every voice is heard, which is really important. And around the question, and can I have the next one? So we have it already here. So what can we do together to create action, to empower girls and women? And it's really about action. In my first life, I'm an architect. And I love constructing. I've not left architecture because that love, yeah? But to get real and to create something where it gets tangible. So the invitation is, the encouragement is, really think about it. What could be? And with all the diversity we have here in the room, I think it's really a good mix. And please make it tangible. Why do we do that? Because it helps us to think. Because when you are just doodling also something on the paper, and then I see, oh, it triggers something in my thoughts. And afterwards, we will capture it and we will cluster it, and it will help us then, and Dana also and her team, to capture the juicy fruits of it. So with that, I wish you wonderful. So first of all, let's stand up and go to the tables, so that who there are some tables here are just. We can have more.
I think that
You
one
have a
doesn't
host?
have
Yeah.
a host.
Do you have a host?
You don't have a host, right?
Be your host then.
So I'll be your host.
And the empty tables, please find.
So I don't look over.
So here is still place.
All right, time is up. Time is up. All right. Everybody stop talking, please. Especially men who are loud. Please stop talking. All right. Okay, I come to your table then. Everybody listen, please. All right? So you're going to have 60 seconds to tell us what happened at your table. Not here. All right.
Okay. So thank you so much. Yeah, I would say that first of all, we need more inspiration. We need role models, national role models of women that made it and they're happy in doing what they do. And at the same time, we need more connection between countries in terms of the best practices that a single country is reaching. And then on the organizational level, it would be amazing to have more international connection on these best practices. Funding is fundamental, and I don't know how many seconds do we have, but gender equality is really important. Yes, the men here are brave, maybe not. Maybe, we are welcoming these guys like in this way, but when we are like, the few in a room, are we welcoming the same way? So absolutely, we need men to stand up and come and fund, but also just stand up for us as a front man, saying that they support us in what we do. Thanks.
Yeah, amazing. Nice. Yes. Yes, we need men and boys, yes, and we need role models, and yes, we need to collaborate more. All right, here. So here, I think I'm going to give you ladies both the floor, yeah?
Okay. All right. Will you want to do it?
You can.
Okay. So here we have again, what are the good things that we already have in there in the ground? We have really good education. Women do have good education, so we are breaking down the barrier, saying that women do not have as good education, so they cannot do this or that. We do have some very good European initiatives that they have already given fruitful collaborations, and they have given already good results. We do have good practices, so we don't need every time to reinvent the wheel, because this is what we are doing for 15 years. And we do have entrepreneurial spirit, because Adigoni here, my colleague from Cyprus, said that when they have in junior achievements, 55% of CEOs are girls in this trial phase, and only 15% reach the actual business level. So we are missing that. It's not anymore a scenario that women are not entrepreneurial. So what are the tools we are having? We need to change the narratives. We need to focus a lot on campaigns and about role models. We need to give the inspiration to the girls because this is what they're missing, actually. And of course, the access to finance, everybody is mentioning that women, they're not doing good in pitching events, not because they're not good pitchers, but because there is this stereotype that men and women sometimes they don't invest in other women. They do see a lot of barriers. We need to have a policy that it is structured. We don't need any more ad hoc collaborations, ad hoc communications, ad hoc strategies. We're having a project that really gives fruits for 3 years, and this project collapses after the financing finishes. So we are reinventing and reinventing. And we need to showcase the added value in social aspect of female entrepreneurs. The World Bank says that for every $10 a man business has as an as earnings, additional earnings, 9 of them are going to other investments or to his pocket or to his luxury. When we are talking about a female business, the $10 that are the surplus, 8% goes back to the society. So we need to showcase that to the policymaker. And of course, we cannot exclude the elephant from the room because yes, a lot of women, a big percentage of women want to become mothers. Of course, we cannot force everybody, but it's a big percentage. And 89% of women are the carriers of the family. And when we say carriers, we are talking about persons with disabilities, elderly people. So from the carriers of Europe, 89% are women. So we need to take the policy for family affairs if we really want women to flourish into business, into the economy, and then into the society. Yep.
I think we already covered everything.
Let's see here. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we'd just kind of add on what everybody else said. Our group had a big focus on the importance of really early education to highlight the skills that are important in entrepreneurial mindsets and bring that in for boys and girls, but show that at a really early age. We also talked about visibility in media and making sure that we're not reinforcing gender norms and stereotypes and showing that women can be mothers, but they can also be construction workers or anything they want to be, and that entrepreneurship is one of those things. So that's kind of in the media. But yeah, having role models who are women to look up to, but also making sure that they are in positions in the boards, in leadership, and also in funding so that it trickles down. And then we also talked about allyship and emphasizing empathy and making sure that it's not only women's voices that are at the table, but we are including lots of different points of view coming together. Yes.
Thank you. Okay. You go.
All right. Well, we do agree with what everybody else said, and adding some stuff to it. Thinking as an entrepreneur, meaning we want solutions. We had some good feedbacks here. We have students, entrepreneurs, education, hotelier, and the horizon. And when we brought all that together, we think we need technology to do the right matchmaking, to find the right solutions. So we had a few examples saying, okay, we can gather data so that we then can find the right solution, right, do the right matchmaking, because now it happens ad hoc and it happens manually. We had some beautiful collaboration when we have, interns working with female founders, and female founders inspiring the youth to start up and scale the businesses. Common projects. We have a beautiful common project from this conversation as well. We have hoteliers that could collaborate with universities as well, and not only locally but also internationally to attract the talent, which is a challenge in many countries at this moment. And I think that's it. Did I forget something?
Maybe we could just add that often it seems to be very relevant to change the mindset of the enablers. And this would be career counselors, trainers, teachers, and sometimes the mothers themselves. We need to actually get the mothers to support their girls to be more ambitious in their aspirations.
Thank you. Yeah, so a lot of it also has already been said, so I will just point out the things that maybe nobody said yet. So we had a lot of discussions here, so it was really interesting. We started that we want to focus on the challenges that women face, so we want to really look into what is the topic of girls and women, and then really focus on the specific challenges. And then we said, okay, challenge is not a good word. We want to see the opportunities and solutions, and we want to focus on this and not on the negativity. And then we also talked about the thing about imposter syndrome that, of course, I think everybody knows this feeling of having the feeling that you're not enough or you're not ready for a specific step in your life. And I think it's important to empower really early. This has already been said. To be more aware what you can do and be really strong and sure about your own strengths. We also talked about the financial funding quite a long time. I think what's really important is to get rid of bias when you get funding. How you do this? My approach would be a technical approach to the application is not, you don't see if it's a female founder or a male founder. But there was also the idea, for example, to let women choose who gets the funding and not the people or men that are funding it right now or choosing. So maybe also switch by who has the responsibility to, or the overview over the money. And yeah, did I forget something important? You wanted to say something about this?
Business succession is a very important thing in Europe, as we all know. Founding is one way, but taking over another business is another way. And especially for women, it is a very good chance to take over a company. And there are so many successes needed, and maybe we can support that more so that more women and women could become a successor. That was the idea.
One more thing. Because the networking part was actually really important. We talked about men are really good in networking, and then we thought about, okay, but when do they network? At the drinks in the evening, and where's the woman? And she's at the family. So what are we doing? We should share care work and do it together and not be just the thing of the women. That's really important.
All right, nice. All right. Here we're going to have Ellen from Bantani do the reporting.
Hello. It's very interesting. Our discussion focused really on that empowering women and girls. We have a wide variety of experience here, different countries, different contexts, different expertise areas. And so what we spoke about was very much, what are the challenges? We have system bias. The context is different in different countries. We have access issues, confidence issues in places, not everywhere. And how do we create some solutions out of that? What is it that we really feel are the important parts of where we go? Starting early is critical. And I think that was the conclusion around the table. Families, parents, children, this sort of environment drives it's that culture that we talk about. And we need things in place that will challenge bias, will challenge the work-life balance that we expect, will challenge the system bias, will look at, the access issues for empowering women and girls towards the life and career or entrepreneurship opportunities they seek. So we tried to really swiftly come up with some ideas and concrete solutions. Addressing gender equity. So how does education, primary school and onwards, address and explore the barriers to gender equity, the barriers that women face, and the barriers that women and men should be aware of and face together in order to overcome that system level and cultural level bias that we see. So gender equity education, and also then using local and relevant peers as role models. Ricardo mentioned a project to bring scientists back to their school and talk about, you know, I sat in that chair. What about women and men who've challenged gender norms, who've challenged gender roles and come back and sit and be those people that we can see and provide the vision for change? So yes, gender equity education, broadly speaking, with role models.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think it was really hard to keep track of everything we wrote on our little tree and not to repeat what everyone said, but I think we all agree that role models are very important and there is this untapped potential. We spoke so much about the inequality in the funding that women receive versus men receive, and also the fact that it wouldn't just be the men's club, but also women discriminating other women, which I think it's also part of the problem. And I think that leads to changing the narrative a little bit. I think just the fact that a man can choose to stay at home, that's also okay, and other men need to kind of approve that, because I think we're talking so much about how it's for women okay to choose their career, but it's also to help the solution move forward. We need to change narratives on both sides. And I think what we came to the conclusion as well is that there are so many programs where EU, but we need to collaborate even more. So I think opportunities like that really show how there's so many programs that we really can learn from one another. So I think we were just saying that we need to create some sort of platform that will be able to have all of these solutions. So maybe that's the next step. So yes.
I don't think we have to create new platforms. I think there are a lot of platforms. If I may, 1 second. So I'm a bit frustrated that we have this typical European stuff to be so fragmented. Yeah? This year there was a new European innovation agenda, which was a flagship document about innovation. Female entrepreneurship is key. Their actions, I didn't hear about them at all. Yeah? That's a pity. We should collaborate. And so let's not create new platforms. Let's work together. Instead of diverging, let's converging. I think this was a bit what we said at this table.
Very good. Very good. Come to Lisa.
So we come with hands-on advice. We started with like, how about we do things a little bit different? As an example, it's like, so like I've been with SME Assembly, attending it for the last 4 years or so. And I'm like, okay, so when you walk into the room at the same time, open the windows and the doors to bring other people in. Keeping in mind that like by 2024, there is now an EU mandatory quota on boards on like the top companies in Europe. So it's a top-down policy. And yes, I know there is a frustration of quota and then we become quota women. Seriously, after that, go into the room, open the windows and the doors. And for all kind of like diversity, and we're walking the talk, is because I've been at SME Assembly several times. I said, okay, look, we have to bring other people in, and that's how I brought Laura in for a different perspective, because you've never been exposed to policy. And just like a little tip, all of you, after you attended SME Assembly, you can suggest people to join us next time. So if you really want diversity and more voices, it's like all of you can have an action, write an email and suggest other people to join. And then like walk with them and translate all of those funny words everyone is using.
I'm just going to say one thing amongst the inclusivity clause that Lisa talked about, and it's education. You talked about one type of education. You girls talked about another type of education. But I think that we need a training camp on how to be entrepreneurs. Mainly because when you're going through an investment round, you don't know how to talk. You don't know how to say things. And that is really, really important. I mean, there's a lot of books that you can read, but when it comes to actually sitting in front of investors that are asking you a shit ton of questions, and you're like, well, what am I supposed to answer to this? Then funding, I wrote funding twice, sorry. Funding and funding. Oh, funding and founding, okay. And then I think that there's something that I would call the anti-asshole camp, because everyone has an asshole, right? But how about we try to do a camp where we actually not talk like, oh, it's gonna be okay, don't worry about it. But actually teach people how to get their confidence up, like to empower other people, but not just like self-coding things and being like, okay, well, what you did was shit, but maybe next time you can do it this way and that can make a difference. So that's about it.
Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Hello. It's very difficult as a last table not to repeat what has already been said. Indeed, we had the same thing with the culture, changing the culture, the male education, the role models. That was also issues that we touched upon. But I think there are some issues that still remain. For example, we need to change the ecosystem. The political ecosystem is not very favorable. At the moment, there is a lot of protection for women when they're pregnant, but for women entrepreneurs, when they have their children, they see the funding go away. And this is something that has to change. Another issue that it's also very important for women entrepreneurs is to overcome the fear of failure. This is what my colleague from Slovakia here said. It was very empowering for women in Slovakia to see their first president of the republic being a female. And the fact that the story behind this woman with lots of, fall and get back to, and bounce back, fall and bounce back, was really very, very empowering as well. So don't be afraid to fail, but stand up and go forward. And one last thing, I think it's very important. Women often can be their worst enemies. So protect and value what is being a female in entrepreneurship. As my colleague was saying, female often, much more than men, do not go into business only for profit. They want to have an impact, and protect this. This is very important.
If I could have one call to action, especially maybe to the Dutch people or everyone here that knows a Dutch person. A lot of my colleagues are starting this initiative that's called 21st Century Parental Leave. And it's the call for men to have the same amount of parental leave as women do, so that when you employ someone, a man will be gone just as long as a woman will, and also the benefits that it has for the child. Because today, young couples, most of young couples, actually want to 50-50 share parental care, and our current policy system just doesn't allow them. If my dad gets 2 days to get to know me as a baby, and my mom could be there, how can they ever, as a couple, decide to become 50-50 parents? So 21st century parental leave, all Dutch people sign it, all non-Dutch people, tell your Dutch people to sign it, or start this initiative in your country, because many countries are starting these initiatives. Do it.
Nice. All right. So I'll invite you. Yes, we are in the 21st century, so remember that. So it means you have to continue. What you started on these trees, you have to continue. You know where to find one another. You know how to find us. We can communicate easily now in the 21st century. So let's continue that. Let's continue that so that we can see some progress. Maybe by next year we can see actually something that we can say it happened here. And now I'm going to invite Sabine to...
I have my mic, so I'm independent. Thank you. Yeah, I have scribbled very, very fast what was coming up. And so change culture, change narratives together, see what is already there. We don't need a new platform, but collaborate. Finding these connections, creating connections. And I think the SME Assembly is one of the places. And this is why we do this in this way, so that you are forced to talk to people you don't talk normally, or you go to the people you know. But so it's really about come to the Ideas Lounge and see who's hanging out there and just start to talk. Connections, connections, connections. Policies, an own field, this not showing the bias, is it man or female who are asking for a funding? What makes it easier? What if it is easy? Is a question I'm always taking with me. So, and with that, I stop here, and thank you so much.
And we're finished.
Thank you all.